Hey y'all, it's your girl Drea and you're watching ThatsSoDrea, and today I am back with another video. As you can tell by the title, we're going to talk about how to move while you're young, okay? How to move while you're in college, or how to move on budget. How to move on a budget, sis. We're going to figure this out. How can you move with your resources? Let's talk about it. First of all, let me just preface this video by saying everybody's moving experience is going to be different. Everybody's circumstances, finances are going to be different. So as far as numbers, I'm not going to necessarily say numbers of what you need to successfully move. I'm going to make it more specific to what you're trying to move into. So if you're trying to move into a condo, if you're trying to move into an apartment, or if you're trying to move into a home for rent or whatever the case may be, I'm going to talk about how I moved and my circumstances, and maybe hopefully inspire you all if you're looking to move. My set of experience, or my experience with moving, was surrounded by, we just gonna get right into it. It was surrounded by a number of different set of experiences, okay? So before we get started, I almost forgot. Let's go ahead and hit that theme song. Cozy conversation, cozy conversation, cozy conversation time. It's cozy conversation time because I am sitting on the couch, which means it's time to get comfortable and it's time to get right into a conversation. All right, so back with what I was saying is my set of experiences. I'm gonna talk about what I did and how I moved successfully, and how I've been able to sustain myself as a young woman. And I moved before I graduated from college. So I was a college student, full-time college student, and I moved. So I'm gonna talk about that after I get through feeding my shirt. Did y'all just see that? It's okay, it's okay. Because I'm too blessed to be stressed out here in these streets, all right? So, okay, so as I was saying, I moved out with a set of different circumstances. My move was kind of abrupt, okay? My move was, I was in the middle of completing my degree, my bachelor's degree. I was about a year, I had about a year left. A year? Yeah, I think I had 1 year left for my degree. And I was working a part-time job and I was a full-time student. And so aside from that, and I did some other work and stuff with film and photography, but aside from like just like a steady type income, so to speak, or like I wasn't salaried. Let me just say that I wasn't necessarily salaried as a worker. So where I was staying, it was time for me to go. And so pretty much like I didn't have what most people have. Like I didn't have like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna move. I'm gonna plan to move for like 6 or a year. Like I'm moving next year, so I'm planning and I'm saving up for a year. Like I was staying in like someplace temporarily while I was finishing my degree. And so it was time for me to move out of that temporary place, so to speak. And which meant I was only searching for apartment living for like a month and a half before I even moved. Like it was so quick. It was so like boom, okay? Which, before I go any further, I want to kind of talk on that whole thing. So sometimes your move is not going to be this graceful, smooth. You got this calendar and it's like, check that off, you know what I'm saying? Or you got this bank account over here and it's like, ooh, stack, you know, your money just stacking up. Sometimes your move is like, you gotta move and you need to move in faith and by faith. Like you don't have the circumstances. Some people can't just plan to move. A lot of times people kind of have to by whatever set of circumstances they're dealt with. And so for me, I was dealt with a set of circumstances where it was abrupt. Like I found myself one day chilling, and the next day I'm like, she gotta go, she gotta go, she gotta go. Like sis was like in a set, like it was time for me to move, and I needed to make a decision and move by faith. Like I could not let different things that were coming in my head or whatever, or in my mind, like to try to like stop me. Like, yes, I was in the middle of my bachelor's degree, but when it's time to move, you gotta move. Like, you can't just sit and think that like, okay, maybe something to come up, whatever the case may be. You have to make active steps. So this is how I did it. As I told you guys earlier, I was in the place I was living, and then all of a sudden I remember just kind of like laying in my bed, and I was like, oh my gosh, like the thought of moving kept coming back to my mind. I'm like, girl, how Sway, how you gonna move, sis? And that was like what was coming in my mind. And I'm laying there like, right, but my fingers was searching on the internet. It was like the most bizarre thing. It was like my brain was like, hello, wait a minute, what we doing now? And then it was like, my fingers were like, girl, you better like search. And I remember spending the whole night just like looking up places and apartments and stuff. I picked an area. First step, pick an area that you're looking for, where you want your faith, or where you believe your faith is at, okay? And yeah, so I was looking for like the area, and I found the area. I'm like, yeah, that's what I want, and I need to still be close to school. I still need to kind of be like, I started thinking about all these different things if, you know, I can move it immediately. Now, I ended up moving into an apartment, but I considered on-campus housing. But my particular university, I knew I was graduating. So it's like, okay, you graduate like in a year, like you're just gonna stay on campus or something for like, what you gonna do after that? So it wasn't, that right there was not very, it wasn't gonna be something that I could do and be long-term secure. And one thing that I needed in that time of moving was to find security in a place of peace. Now, getting back to the story. So I'm up late at night searching, and I kept feeling this thing, and I was feeling it for about a week, and I was fighting, y'all. I was like, ain't no way in the world, sis is not trying to make that move right now. Like, what you mean? What you mean you about to go? Like, that was literally what thoughts was coming in my mind. Like I wouldn't say I was avoiding it, but I was like at the edge of the thought, like, should I take a step over there? I'm just kind of peeking like, is this it? Is this really what I'm about to do? And instantly, I just really felt like I needed to keep looking into housing. For about a week, I was like tussling with this idea. So I'm doing virtual tours online. I'm looking up stuff. I'm punching numbers in, y'all. This was like a major faith move. Like, saying it's a faith move is like, y'all, it was so, when I tell y'all, it took a part of me that I didn't know was there. Like, it was almost like I was in the experience, but I was out of the experience. I know that sounds weird, but it was like, y'all, like, okay, I believe in faith. I believe in miracles. I believe in angels and things like that. I believe that God will send signs and wonders, and he will speak to you with the simple things. And so, like, I remember buying this little trash can. I'm gonna show y'all the trash can I bought. So this is the trash can. This was the first piece of item that I bought, and it was like a faith move for me. And I found it at, I don't know how to take the sticker on it, but like, y'all actually got trash in it, so it's a trash can. But I bought this. I was at the store with some friends, and I was tussling with this thought. Honestly, I want to say like a month before it was time, like it was time for me to move. For some reason, I felt this wanting to buy pieces of that belonged to me. I know that sounds a little strange, but like, who just thinks of that? Like, I had a trash can where I was, but it was like, I wanted something that was mine, that was like, I started having this feeling of like, I'm telling you, you have to watch the signs, because sometimes we stay places longer than we should. And sometimes and a lot of times God is giving us signs with small stuff, with our desires beginning to change and our focus starts shifting and we start putting more money away, y'all. Like, I was like putting money away, but I was working part-time. Like, I was working and I was working hard, and I had to pay myself through school and take care of a lot of stuff in school. So I'm like, I was going to school trying to graduate on the time that I want, like on time. So like, I went to school through spring and summer, and that stuff like cost. So straight up, I bought this trash can. I bought it, and I remember like my friends was like, you bought a trash can? Like, it was this almost strange, and it was kind of strange to me a little bit. I'm like, yeah, I am actually. And I saw it in a room, like an office or like beauty room or something. I saw it in a room that was mine. Budget, what can you afford? So that was another thing that I had to think about. What could I afford moving out as soon as I was? Now, granted, I wasn't expecting to move that quickly, but I didn't know when I was gonna move, but I knew I needed to move soon. So I had to figure out, moving soon, let's say tomorrow, what do you have in your wallet like, or your account? Like, what can you afford with first month's rent, deposit, and furnishing an apartment, like, and making sure you pay for renter's insurance and all of that. So I'm like, what can I afford? So that's another thing. So when you're looking to move, you really want to know what location, what can you afford? And I had to think about the size. I said, okay, I can afford this amount a month. And what size is this apartment gonna, like, what's gonna work for me too? Because again, like, I do film and photography. So one thing I did not want to do is be in a very cramped place where I couldn't put my camera equipment. I didn't have storage or anything like that. So I ran across these different apartments that I like in these areas that I like. I kind of narrowed them down by price and what I wanted. But one of the things I really, really wanted, and I said, I don't want to settle. I will not despise the small beginning, but I don't want to settle. The things I wanted to have was a laundry room or a washer and dryer in my unit. I didn't really like the idea of running up and down stairs with like baskets. Okay, I love clothing. I do all kinds of stuff where I buy clothing. I wear a lot of clothing in a week, probably more than the average. I probably change my outfit 2 times a day. I know that's crazy sometimes. Like, if I get home from work and stuff, that's one outfit. I change it to regular clothes, and then I'll change it to PJs. So I'm like, by the end of the day, I'm in 3 pairs of like 3 different garments or outfits or whatever. So sis need to be able to throw that stuff in a dryer and washer and be done. Like, I also like the idea of washing every other day or something like that, because I don't like my towels just sitting in the bathroom getting soggy, and they just, because towels just sit there and start mildewing or having, like, yeah, no. So I wanted to be able to just take my towels and throw them in a washing machine that night while I go to bed, and then it's washing and drying while I'm going to bed. While I'm sleeping, I get up, I got fresh stuff to take out the dryer, fold them up, be good for the day. You start to get comfortable, and God be like, okay, that season is up, but you sitting somewhere idle. I would never do that again, okay? Because then something will happen, or whatever the case may be, and he'll push you out of the places. He'll push you out of the places because it's no longer a place, like the grace is not there. It's time for another season. You've graduated, whatever the case may be, whether you see it or not. And for me, I toiled with that. Like, I had to pray. I found myself praying. I found myself, like, when I left school and stuff like that, and I got back to the house, like, I would go right into the room and I would be like crunching numbers. I started thinking about like how much I was eating out. So if you're trying to move, like, you have to watch, like, look at your behaviors, look at what you are spending your money on, look at what you're doing with your time. How are you going to invest that? Like, And so, of course, like my mom, major support. You know, I have friends who supported me and everything, but I had to believe in myself. I had to believe that I could move successfully and maintain a life where I wasn't like, Mom, I need you to help me pay my rent, or Mom, I'm getting evicted. Like, I was like, Jesus, if this is you, God, and you are getting ready to take me to this next step and put me in a place where all I have is faith. All I have is you. And I wasn't gonna do roommates. That's another thing to think about. Do you want a roommate? Do you want roommates? Now, I didn't go away to college, so to speak. So I never lived in a dorm life. I never had to, other than sharing with my sister, I never necessarily like shared rooms. Like I never had to like share or be in a dorm style living area. And so that was another thing. I said, I want to move successfully and not have to have a roommate to make it, because I knew it was time for me to kind of get myself in a place of peace and where I could demand and control my environment, so to speak. So what's your motivator? That's another thing I would have you think about. What is your motivator? What's motivating you to move? Your motivator is going to tell you how soon you need to move, or how soon you need to move and why you were moving in the first place. And for me, I told you guys it was like abrupt. It was like, okay, at one point it was like, okay, it's time for me to go. I gotta go. And so I called the apartment that I liked. I looked at a couple different ones. And think about this too, in your budget, application fees. Places would charge you just for being interested in them. I said, y'all gonna charge me $45 to fill out the piece of paper? I don't even know if y'all want me here, if y'all accepted me or accepted my application. And so that's another thing to consider. Look up the application fees of the places. They can range. Some, I think I saw some that was like $15 or $10 up to like $45, $50. And so I can't remember what mine costed, honestly, when I think about it, when I moved here. I don't remember how much it cost. I'm sure it's around here somewhere in my files. Yeah, it probably was $20, $30. I can't remember, y'all. But anyway, so you got to think about that. So because my move was abrupt, I had to think about what help I needed, what I was going to need to get myself ready. What materials, what things. And when I tell you God came through for me to move. And so if you're watching this and you may not have the support, you need to move because it's for your own safety, it's for your own good. You need to move because, quite frankly, you just outgrown the place. If you need to move because God is telling you to move because He's trying to take you into another direction and you holding yourself up, then I'm talking to you, and I'm saying, if he's putting it on your heart and you feel like it's time for you to move for whatever reason, He's going to help you. If God is leading you, He's going to provide for you. And that was one of the things too. I said, Lord, like I don't want to be like, I don't want to necessarily kind of like be like in a spot where I gotta like live, you know, with like a relative or whatever the case may be, or like, you know, my mom, or just kind of like that, because I didn't have an issue with it. But in my mind, it was like, Drea, you need to be able to command your environment. And this moving on your own has so many benefits. And so I know we talk a lot about, oh, it costs a lot to move on your own. I know we talk a lot about, what about this and what about that? What you give up when you move on your own, and budgets and this and that. But there are so many amazing things that come from just taking that step of faith, really. Taking the step of faith and saying, I know this is where I'm feeling like I need to be next, but I don't know how it's going to be there. So this is what helped me. I'm going to give you guys 3 things that helped me move successfully. So I kind of touched a little bit on why I moved. I kind of touched a little bit on, like my motivation and things like that. God literally showed me how to save. And this is my story. I'm not saying everybody will do this or choose to do this. And everybody who move in a haste may not even have the resources to do this. But you don't want to go beyond your means. He said, don't despise small beginnings, and don't just say, oh, I want to live in this grandiose place right now. And since I can't afford that, then I'm gonna save and I'm gonna wait until, you know, I can afford that, or whatever the case may be. Do what you want to do. But I'm saying, for me, it was like, you gotta go. You gotta go right now. And you need to go in a place that you can move successfully. So you want to move successfully. 3 things. Write it down. Write down your desire to move. Write down where you desire to move. So before I even put the app in for the place I live at now, like, I wrote it down. I felt a peace about that. I went to view the place before I filled out the application. So you can come and view a place. A lot of places, all they ask for is your ID, and they'll give you a walkthrough. They might ask you a couple other questions. They might start an application because they always want to seal the deal. But for the most part, like, they'll allow you to just go view the place if you're the place that you're interested in. So the second thing I want to say is, again, like, you want to know your location and what you can afford and get a budget together. This is what I did. I got a budget together. I started seeing what I had come in. I mean, from the dime, like, even from like random offerings of money, or something that was like on a continual basis that I knew that I was getting. I had that there. I had the income that I can expect from my part-time job, and just from my my business, my film and photography company. And at this point, I was so blessed and grateful to have a couple contracts going on during that time that I knew I can guarantee that for at least a year. You know, that was what my contract was signed for with film. So I factored in that. I factored in not spending all this money on shopping and stuff that I normally would do, because I was like, I don't really have that. I factored in paying for my books and all kind of other things, and gas and all of that. I put it on the spreadsheet. I put up a realistic amount of income, and then I put up what I believe in God, like my income to be. And then I added in my rent. I added in my utilities, hypothetical utilities, but I knew what rent would be. I put in my renter's insurance. Interesting enough, my car insurance company I was already paying for renter's insurance, even though I didn't have, because I had so much expensive film equipment. I did renter's insurance because I wanted to make sure that if something ever happened, my insurance, wherever I was staying, would be covered, and my my equipment would be covered. And so all I had to do, I was used to paying renter's insurance. I was like a given. I had renter's insurance for like 2 or 3 years before I even rented a place. So that was a done deal. So I ran up the budget, and then you also got to be careful. This third thing, watch people around you that won't speak in faith, or if you feel like you're supposed to do this and you believe you can do it. Watch those who are Debbie Downers or doubters. You got to watch that, because folk will tell you how far you can go based off of something that they feel like they can go. But your faith is different. Your path is different. Your life is different. Your drive to make it and be successful is totally different from that person. And quite frankly, if ain't nobody talking support, and you know this is the move that you're going to make, and you believe that you are like, God is like with you in this move, you got to do stuff by yourself. You have to get past what people are saying. Because for me, when I was actually getting ready to say that out loud, like, I was really amazed at how many people had things to say. Like, no one has anything to say when you were doing other stuff, you know what I'm saying? Or if you doing this or doing that. It's like when you make a move and you're like, oh, it's time, or you making a decision for yourself that is a good decision for yourself, it seems like people got something to say. So watch who you share your vision with. Watch who you are surrounded by, who's going to support you, because moving is expensive, and it's really a leap of faith, because you're literally going into an environment and saying, okay, I'm just going to be vulnerable. I'm going to open myself up in this environment to live here and pray that I'm safe, pray that I can do it successfully and whatever. If you haven't heard anybody say you can do it, and if you ran across this video, I hope this video catches somebody who is in a spot where it's like, it's time to move, but they're stagnant, or they're being double-minded, like, oh, I'm gonna do it, no, I'm not. Or they allow people to get in their ears and talk. Like, I had people tell me, like, girl, please, you ain't about to do that. I had like people tell me, like, you're not gonna be successful at moving on your own. You don't even have a college degree, your degree yet. You work a part-time job. How are you going to afford to do that? And some people are putting your ear to be a motivator. Don't get mad. Don't get mad at people who don't support. Listen, some people are pushers. They're just designed to be there, talk their stuff, and push you to where you're supposed to go. So don't always think that people on the sideline, they trying to prey on my downfall. And they can very well be trying to prey on your downfall, but they are designed sometimes to just push you closer. And so you got to just kind of make sure your peace is here and you got this relationship with God together, because if not, you'll be like me. Don't be like me and move when you have to move. Move when you want to move and you feel led and you're preparing to move. You can move successfully. So if you need to hear this and it's time for you to get up and go, you need to get up and go. Okay? Stop doubting yourself. Stop giving yourself excuses or making excuses for why you haven't moved. Because your obedience is going to take you to the next place that you didn't know you were supposed to be at. And when I tell you from experience, this is the best experience I could have ever had. And yes, it gets tough. Yes, it's been hard sometimes. Yes, I've had to really hit that budget again. Like the second month, I was like, I gotta figure out, rework this budget because this budget ain't working, okay? So you gotta move and do what's best for you, but you can do it. I did it. I had a whole year. I had a whole car insurance, all kind of expenses I still had to take care of, but you can do it. Everything is in my house right now for the most part. It was here when I moved. It's what I came in with. This is what I had available to me to bring into my new home. And so yeah, and just keep yourself around positive people, and the naysayers, the haters, whoever else they got stuff to say. You can do it. You can do it. And so I love you guys. I really hope this is relevant. I wanted to kind of bring you all a little bit closer to my story because I've been wanting to talk about this. I've been wanting to say like how to move young and how to move while you're in college and how to be successful. It's been over a year and some change of me moving, and it's the best thing I could have ever done for myself and for my future. If you guys want to know more about my experience, if you guys want more details, I try to keep it very simple so that if you're just watching it, you can just watch it in a few minutes and get the gist of the video. But if you guys want to know like roughly an estimated of budgets and things like that of what I used, or how to buy furniture, how to budget for furniture, how to budget, like just whatever you wanting to know about my move and how to move, I will do the best that I can. I'm not a professional, but I would share from my experience. And yeah, I love you all so much. Again, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, okay? If you like this content, take a moment. I really would appreciate it if you can go ahead and subscribe to this channel and like this video. Thank you so much, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.